Tim is already quiet quitting. That's why he keeps wearing the same clothes. Oh yeah, I guess I should read. This is from Timcast in real life. Conservatives consider quitting politics as political violence worsens. Is this going to just be him talking about himself though?
The violence is getting extreme.
Yep.
Really?
We just had a shooting at my property.
Yep.
And
Oh, that didn't happen
it's,
though.
it's particularly terrifying, especially I just had a kid.
Yep.
And so the questions we're having now, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
However,
congrats.
when we get these death threats after Charlie is killed, people are posting Tim Pool, they're posting not just me, but like the ones my security team is seeing. We get emails threatening to come shoot the place up.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it happens.
It sounds like it's just Tim Pool though. He's like, oh man, I'm telling you, this is the new meta among failing right wing journalists. This is going to be the new meta. Tim Pool is just an early adopter. Where ever since Charlie got killed, they're going to all just be like insinuating that there are more and more threats against their lives. There are more and more shots going off outside their compounds.
Like the ones my security team is seeing, we get emails threatening to come shoot the place up.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it happens. There are a lot of people behind the scenes that are basically saying it might be getting much too hot right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm
can you
curious.
give us an example of anyone besides yourself? You've only said yourself so far.
That are basically saying it might be getting much too hot right now.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you're at on this one.
Well, we actually did a show about your show, basically, affirming everything that you were saying, because we get the same things on our side as well. Oh, that's a tough one to go. All right, I'm going to give the real answer here. If I didn't get into this thinking when I was in the Army for 12 years, I went into that thinking, okay, I'm putting myself in harm's way. Never did I think that my family could suffer from it. When I started running my mouth about things that I saw that were wrong about everything, never did I imagine that. Here's the real truth right now. If I look directly into the camera, like my kids can't go to.
No offense. I love where he's going with this. He's saying that it's more dangerous to be a podcaster than it is to be a soldier. I love that. Tactical wedding band. I love that. He's literally saying it's more dangerous to be a podcaster than it is to be a soldier. Hell yeah, brother. That's right. We both survived the podcasting wars.
Here's the real truth right now. If I look directly into the camera, like my kids can't go to normal schools, like for the rest of their lives.
Seeing their dad, I'm not surprised by that.
It's like they cannot go to normal schools. We have to hide, just like you. We have to hide where our location is at. We're in unmarked buildings, all this other kind of stuff.
What?
Wishes
No
of
way.
sodomy and rape on my daughters and things like this.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
That's
like,
terrible.
and then when I question Candace, they know that they can't bother me. So then my wife starts getting all the phone calls. She starts getting all the DMs. She starts getting all the everything, trying to come after me.
You're not gonna be able to take down Candace. You know why? Because Candace doesn't come onto her podcast and complain about shit like this. No offense. So already you're showing me that you're a little bit more, you got less of a thick skin than Candace. You're not gonna take it to Candace. Sorry.
Through them. Do I want to quit? It does bother me on a level of what we talked about earlier, where so many of these people that are behind the mic, they are fake. And I know a lot of people will probably say, well, Graham, you're fake. You're the biggest grifter, da, 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 da. I'll put my bank account against anybody else's bank account, and we'll see who's actually taking money from who when it's all said and done. But
Just because you're a failed grifter doesn't mean you're not a grifter. Just because you haven't made as much money as other grifters have does not mean you're not grifting. It just means you're not good at it. Like, obviously. And also, I don't know who you are. Like, he's talking, like, honestly, the way he's talking about his kids being in the witness protection program and shit like that, you would think that you would just recognize him on sight. I have never heard of Graham. I've heard of Graham Norton, but I don't know who this guy is.
Where people are disingenuous, they're not real in their
You guys know this
faith and their
guy?
beliefs. And then, the real life problems that we're facing to where, people want to kill us simply for questioning Candace Owens. So the very people that are saying that we have changed and we've turned our back, you, me, and so many others have been taking arrows for making a stand that wasn't popular for so long. We didn't change.
We're certainly not doing it for views.
No, we're losing by doing this. We're doing it because we believe it to be true.
Oh, Tim had like a live pity party at AmFest. Of course, we're going back to we're losing views. My show's failing. I don't think he understands how this makes him look when like he starts complaining about like not getting enough views. Like this is it's embarrassing.
No, we're losing it by doing this. We're doing it because we believe.
Listen to him like whisper it again. Listen to him like whisper it like ashamed.
Turned our back. You, me, and so many others have been taking arrows for making a stand that wasn't popular for so long. We didn't change.
We're certainly not doing it for views.
No, we're losing it by doing this. We're doing it because we believe it to be true. The people that are supporting the likes of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, they
so
changed.
salty.
They changed.
I'll tell you where I'm at. I mentioned this before. Probably what you were commenting on is that we've got prominent conservatives that are caught taking money for these ridiculous campaigns, advocating SNAP benefits to buy soda.
Yeah.
In what world is that a moral thing to advocate for? But they got paid advocating for foreign countries.
Yeah.
They should only provide SNAP benefits to buy beanies. You should only be able to buy nutritional foods like vegetables and fruit and whole grains and beanies.
We are sitting here talking about what this country needs, and now you got these people taking money to promote, India's trade benefits or whatever Trump's negotiating. You've got that. Then you've got the Candace Owens phenomenon and people like her. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I get these death threats, and we've gotten them for a long time. And we were swatted 15 times starting in 2022. I think it was January 6th or 7th of 2022 was the first swatting. It was Retro Marjorie Taylor Greene came on. And
another one lost her mind.
Well, my view is with all of the threats of violence, but also this disingenuous grifterdom, whatever you want to call it, I'm sitting here asking myself, to what end do we stand strong? And so I will answer the question as well. I absolutely do not want to quit. I love.
He has one foot out the door. He definitely has one foot out the door. He's looking for an excuse to pack it in.
Doing this every single night. I am driven to point the finger and be like, the media is lying right there. Here's how and why. Right. But it becomes an increasing challenge when there is less and less of a desire for truth, more a desire for entertainment.
And outrage.
And outrage. And so what I would say is, we were just talking before the show about solutions to the security issues that we're facing, and I think we've got an amazing opportunity in front of us that I believe will happen, but we'll see. And I'll just put it simply, like we're working with Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think Rumble is very serious about taking this, turning these detriments, these net negatives into net positives. How do we solve the security problem and also make better content and do better jobs? I think Rumble's going to make that happen.
As a professional poker player, okay, what makes me so good, and I don't study GTO. I don't
luck.
No, I read people.
Yeah.
Okay, I could look at you. I could tell if you're telling the truth, or if you're a grifter, or you're just. I could know who honest people are. Every time Trump speaks, I know when he's telling the truth and when he's lying. Okay. And listen, I don't want to keep saying bad things about Candace or Tucker, but watching people who I love
it's got the clown
into something that I just feel is so. When you watch Candace, you just know it's ingenuous. It's just it's not genuine.
It's demoralizing.
It's demoralizing, and so I see it. And I read these people.
This guy like a Howard Stern character.
Come on, Tucker's very, very wealthy. He's been for forever. He's one of the smartest people in the world. He doesn't. You could call out the Israeli government if you don't like it, but when he keeps saying the Jews, and then he says, "Well, I'm not anti-Semitic." Well, when you say the Jews, you are anti-Semitic.
Yeah, duh. Obviously.
Yeah.
And so
that's part of the grift. He just goes like, I'm not after doing all the anti-Semitism. He says, oh, like it's all these anti-Semitic things, like, but I'm not anti-Semitic. And then by nature of how for how long far-right content creators have been enabled in their most bad faith arguments, people just are still confused by all of that. It's still confusing.
What I'm doing is I launched a new channel. YouTube gave me @TimPool finally after.
You're not allowed on this podcast unless you have a hat on.
after what, 15 years or whatever.
Wow.
And so I put up a vlog today of it was me and Brandon hanging out at the DGen Lounge for WPT.
Yeah,
and
I forgot to tell you that me and Tim were hanging out at the DGen Lounge for WGTP or whatever he said. It was crazy time. You wouldn't believe the body odor in there.
It's fun. I want to have fun again. I don't want to be so stressed out all the time with the constant
That's
fighting.
a good point. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
just
also
like
it's just not
public, too.
political
You gotta
content.
have fun. You can't make it miserable.
Yeah, I think the reality, there are people.
The
I
therapy
would say
session
to
for
Candace,
Tim?
She loves being rich.
Yes.
She loves getting attention. She loves being wealthy. She married a very wealthy man, and she's doing everything she can to get those numbers up. Man,
She's gonna need all of them.
I
He
don't
sounds
care.
so jealous.
from the
Oh
promo
man,
suit.
he's so
I had
jealous.
people saying to me like, "Why are you bitching about these threats to your family, Tim? You're rich." And I'm like, I would rather just make a humble salary and not have my family threatened.
Yeah.
I don't need much. I talk about living in a van down by the river all the time.
Yep.
I told
you
my
steal
wife,
that
I
bit
said,
all the time.
you know what we'll do? If
Yeah, I put it like this. I a very religious guy, so I've prayed about it a lot. Like, Lord, if it's time for me to put the microphone away, I'll do it. But people keep showing up. They keep showing up every day. And so as long as they keep showing up and there's a fight to be had, here's the thing that I think you're saying, if I can stand up for a couple people real quick, stand up for people like Dan Bongino for a minute.
Yeah.
Not even a year ago, people were begging, people like me, people like Dan, and other people, and I don't want to out them because a lot of people have anonymous profiles that went to the administration. And we did it. For those of you who don't know, we had to stop all money making. You can't do that. And when your business is you talking, it's not like you can just name a CEO to take it over and all this stuff. We did it, and we went in there, and now I'm a Fed. I'm bought and paid for. I was a Fed before. I was in the Army for 12 years before I even did this. So I'm a Fed. But then you got Dan Bongino, who before Candace in her thing, he was getting 200,000 concurrents
every day.
Every day.
Again,
and he gave
they just can't help but sound like they're salivating when they talk about the amount of clout that other right-wing content creators who are more explicitly conspiratorial get. Like, you can hear the longing in Tim's voice. And I want to be clear, I was not trying to say he doesn't have a wife and kid. I was just trying to say that wasn't something that I noticed about his content before.
I was in the Army for 12 years before I even did this. So I'm a Fed. But then you got Dan Bongino, who before Candace in her thing, he was getting 200,000 concurrents
every day.
Every day. And he gave it all up to go try to make a difference. Now, you can say whatever you want. Yes, the FBI was corrupted. Yes, it was a mess, and it was probably set up to fail from the beginning. But Dan Bongino is a patriot, and I've seen the reports from Fox News that he's thinking about his future and all this other stuff. When he comes back, I think we need a Dan Bongino to come back.
I think, people are saying, oh, Dan Bongino got in and he got
Voice
corrupted. I don't
crack.
believe for a second. I think
No.
Dan is fighting the good fight, still trying his hardest.
Absolutely.
Me too.
I 100% agree.
But here's the thing: is like, what is your opinion on this? Because like, the DOJ is supposed to be separate from the administration. The FBI is supposed to be separate from the administration. And every time, and I met Kash Patel. I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's doing the good fight. But it's always like, well, we gotta Trump's agenda. Trump's show, the DOJ, Pam Bondi brings up, well, they're blocking us from Trump's agenda. Like, is she's they supposed to be saying that? Aren't they supposed to be neutral, the DOJ and the FBI? And they come out like all about Trump's agenda, which like I like that, but what's going to happen when they get the power? Is it all going to be about Gavin Newsom? God, please bless us all. Don't let fucking Gavin Newsom in there. But I'm just trying to say, do you understand what I'm trying to say about keeping it separate?
If we don't stay in this fight and redouble our efforts, we're going to get President Newsom. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would rather have the crazy Kamala than I would Gavin. Kamala,
man. No.
Gavin Newsom is the most evil person in the world.
The only reason to prefer Kamala to Gavin Newsom is because in the hope that a Kamala Harris administration would be
was this guy here the whole time? Is this a different guy? Wow.
Coherent.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, let's go here, but also less
be drunk every day.
accomplished. Like, they wouldn't be able to get things done as well as Gavin Newsom.
You're right, Mike. It is supposed to be neutral, but in the real world, like,
We know Merrick Garland was working for Biden.
But when the president's agenda is what's best for the country, like truly, like, hey, finding all of these people, prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the laws, hey, when international crimes are committed or
this is another thing that's making us look bad.
Like
right?
the cops being cops, allowing them to do what they're supposed to do.
There's been no arrest. There's been they just talk, right? And it makes us look like idiots, right?
Yeah, well, I've never been a Pam Bondi fan.
If nothing's getting done.
I never really
I was going in, I'm not now.
I never liked the Pam Bondi pick. I never really loved it.
Yeah, did you want Matt Gaetz because Matt Gaetz was going to look more closely into the human trafficking thing?
I think everyone agrees that Pam Bondi in her first 2 weeks with that whole Epstein binder stuff, everyone agrees that was the most massive PR mistake that could have ever happened. And honestly, there was a lot of innocent
Nah, bro, that was definitely an own goal. That was definitely a whiff. The big PR mistake, though, is making the face of the Republican Party Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Because I said it before, definitely Pam Bondi did not help the situation, but there was only so much that once you were in that position that you could reasonably do because of how much Trump is implicated in those files, right? Perhaps the only person implicated more is Prince Andrew. And so she certainly didn't handle it the right way, but the fact that she is the face of it has allowed a lot of right-wing figures, including Matt Gaetz, who definitely wouldn't have handled it any better or wouldn't have been able to handle it in any way that would have totally tamped down on all suspicion of the president. In fact, he would have gotten dragged into it given his own background. But it's allowed people to kind of just blame the whole thing, the cover-up itself on Pam Bondi, and still just, pretend as though President Trump has had nothing to do with it, despite the fact that he's her boss. He's the one she's covering it up for, right? Some people will pretend like Pam Bondi's just covering it up for the sake of it, and not because Trump is her boss and is definitely implicated in them. And it helps, of course, that Pam Bondi's a woman too, because they're misogynist. So it's really easy for them to go like, "Oh, Pam Bondi's covering this up for some reason or another." Conservative consider quitting politics. Basically just Tim then. It seems like only Tim has considered quitting politics because of violence. What other shows does he have?
Airlines have canceled more than 700 flights.
Damn, he wears this outfit all the time. Is he depressed, do you think?